So today we'll go into a detailed example to see how we perform the economical and financial analysis. We have the following given. A project for a diesel station has the following characteristics. First, the cost of the plant per kilowatt is $400 CIF, and the capacity is 50 megawatt. The plant has to be imported, and installation charges would be equivalent to $200 per kilowatt. 65% of the installation would be done by a local contractor, and the rest would be spent on foreign contractors. The local contractor would engage unskilled workers for 35% of the work, while the rest of the installation work by the local contractor would be done by semi-skilled workers. We'll see that for each sentence, we should pay attention for each information because we need this to find the economic and financial costs. The plant is expected to consume 1.7 barrels of diesel per megawatt hour for the first 5 years, and then the consumption would increase to 1.8 barrels per megawatt hour for the next 5 years. Imported diesel costs $50 CIF per barrel, while the domestic refineries sell diesel at local money, 2,400 local money per barrel. And the transportation and handling would require $10 per barrel from the port to the project site. It is expected that the CIF price, which is the international price, would increase 2.5% every year, and the domestic price in the market of the country would increase at 4%. The plant would require 5 skilled workers and 10 unskilled workers. The skilled workers command a salary of 10,000 local money per month. Salary of the employees grows at an average rate of 5% every year. The average rate of tax is 10% on salary. Repair and maintenance cost is expected to be 3% of the plant cost per year. Other costs would be 5% of the initial investment, including installation per year. And the official exchange rate is 40 local money to $1, while the parallel market rate is 44 local money per dollar. The unskilled workers are paid 3,000 local money per month, while the semi-skilled workers get 7,000 local money per month. The shadow price of the unskilled and semi-skilled labor wage is estimated to be 75% of their respective market values. The plant is expected to operate 4,000 hours per year, and the contract will provide an annual increase of 3% in the sale price, while repair and maintenance cost is expected to be 3% of the plant cost per year. Other costs would be 5% of the initial investment, including installation per year. We should use a nominal discount rate of 10% financially and 4% economically. The repair and maintenance cost is expected to be 3% of the plant cost per year, and other costs would be 5% of the initial investment. Oh, we already have considered this. So we can consider that we have a total of 8% of the total investment cost as repair and maintenance. The given is really huge, okay? This is why we should decompose as much as possible the given. And you can organize your work in the way you want. Yani, what you can do, you can say, let me work first on the economic level. I find all costs, I find all incomes, and I can calculate the net. Or if you want also, you can for each parameter calculate the economic value and the financial value. It's up to you how you like to organize your work, okay? But at the end, you should use all information in an appropriate way. This is why I advise you to read first the whole given, okay? Because you might need some issues at the end of the given to find, let's say, for example, if you want to determine the difference between the economic and financial salary, you need to know the tax, okay? So it's better to read the whole given, then start to use the information needed progressively, okay? So now together we will decompose the given and find all parameters needed to study the total cost. What we will do, if you want, we will first calculate for each parameter the economic and compare it to financial value. In this way, we can remember what is the main difference between the two approaches. Okay, I will start first by the cost of the plant. So what we know from the given is that the cost of the plant is $400 per kilowatt, and the capacity is 50 megawatt. So all we have to do is to multiply. So we have $400 times 50 times 10 to the power 6 kilowatt. So since here it's per kilowatt, we just we should just convert to kilowatt. So times 50 times 10 to the power 3 kilowatt. And then it's equal to $20 million. Okay, $20 million. Now, if we are doing the calculation for the economic and financial cases, what will be the difference? Until now, there is no difference. In $1 million, both will have the same value. But what will change is when we convert to local money terms. Okay, if you remember, we said that whenever we want to calculate an economic value, we should multiply by which rate? Who can tell me? By which rate we should multiply? If we go down with the given, okay, they told us that the official exchange rate is 40 local money to $1. And the parallel market rate is 44 LM per dollar. Okay, we have already discussed together that whenever we consider the economic rate, we will take the shadow one, while for the financial rate, we'll consider the official one. Okay, this is why when we want to when we want to consider the difference in economic and financial costs, this will be the main difference. So all we have to do is to say that first we multiply 400 times 50 times 10 to the power 3, we get $20 million. And when we want to find the economic cost, we just multiply by the shadow rate, which is 44, while for the financial cost, multiply by the official rate, which is 40. So if when it comes to comparison of the cost on the economic level is larger than the cost on the financial level. Now, this is not the only cost of the plant, because they also told us that we have additional installation charges. And for the charges, they said that for each kilowatt, we need $2,000. So as we did for the plant cost, we'll do the similar calculation for the financial installation charges. We'll consider first 200 times, this is the number of kilowatt, because here it's per kilowatt. Okay, so we have to multiply by the capacity of the plant, which is 50 megawatt, or 50 times 10 to the power 3 kilowatt. And then since we'll provide the value in millions, we'll divide by 10 to the power 6. So concerning the installation charges, it is $10 million. Now, when we want to find the economic value, we have to multiply by the shadow rate, which is 44, while when we consider the financial one, we should consider the official rate, which is 40. But here also, please, you should pay attention, okay? Because when they describe the installation charges, they told us that they are decomposed into two parts. One using foreign contractors and a part using local contractor. And here we should pay attention that the cost of foreign contractor is different than the cost of local contractor, because always when we consider economic cost, we have reduction, because on the economic level, we take the society-wide view. Okay, it will have all, let's say, transport and salaries. All of these will be smaller than the financial costs, and they should give us in the given the percentage of reduction. So if we go back to the description in the problem, they told us that first we have $200 per kilowatt. This will give us a total of $10 million, as we mentioned. Okay, but now 65% of the installation cost would be done by a local contractor. So this percentage will be exposed to a reduction in economic analysis, while for the foreign contractor, okay, we don't have to do any reduction. So because for the foreign contractor, we'll have the same value, if you want, in dollars paid. Okay, so there is no reduction to take into consideration. However, for the local contractor, we should use the reduction rate that is given at the end maybe of the problem. So this is why we should read the whole given before we start to answer. So if we move down, they told us okay, at the end of the paragraph here, they told us that the shadow price of the unskilled and semi-skilled labor wage is estimated to be 75% of their respective market value. What do they mean by this sentence? This means that whenever we have local contractor, or whenever we have, let's say, employers, if they are unskilled or semi-skilled, whenever we consider the economic cost, we should have a reduction of 75% compared to the financial one. Okay, and sometimes, if you want, especially for unskilled and semi-skilled, sometimes they give you taxes. Yani they can give you, instead of this reduction, they can give you taxes. The taxes should be considered only in financial analysis and not in economic one. Okay, but in some countries they consider that for unskilled and semi-skilled salaries, they are already very small. So instead of talking about tax, they just consider the wage reduction, which is here 75%. So it depends on the given. You should clearly read the given to know if you have a reduction in percentage as a wage value, or if you have a certain tax. So for example, here they talked about a tax for the salary of skilled persons. Here it should be clear. It's not very clear in this given. They should add that the average rate of tax is 10% on salary of skilled person, because for semi-skilled and unskilled, they considered the reduction of 75%. Okay, in the given, if they tell you, for example, we have 10% tax on skilled, 5% tax on unskilled, let's say, and 7% tax on semi-skilled, you use the percentages given. Here, in the way they gave the problem, the tax here is for skilled one, and this 75% value. So if you want, the reduction is 25%, because the shadow price is 75% of the market value. So the reduction is 25%. Okay. So now when we want to compute the economic value of the installation charges, so for the economic value of installation, yes.
But I have a question.
Yes, tell me.
Which is 75% is different من the tax 10%. I mean إنه الإيكونوميك بيدفعوا 75%، لأنه there's a reduction على اللوكال اللي هي 25%، لأنه بيدفعوا غير الفاينانس.
الريدكشن هي 25%. صح. يعني هنا عطوك التوتال reduction. You mean you want to reduce 25 and then use the tax again?
لا ما قصدي هيك. أنا قصدي إنه it's not connected to the tax، لأنه taxation بتكون على إنه بتكون على السكيلد لحال. يعني كان في يعطينا بهالسؤال انه taxation تكون على على السيمي سكيلد at the same time وعندي
مزبوط
reduction صح ولا لا؟
مزبوط هيدا اللي عم بقوله انا
اوكي.
exactly. يعني انا عم بقول
جيد.
انه
اوكي.
sometimes they tell you انه you have tax on skilled هالقد on unskilled هالقد. اوكي هلا in this problem عطوا التاكس 10% هو for skilled person بينما for unskilled و semi skilled قالوا انه reduction is 25%. اوكي
Yes.
هلا it will be stated clearly in the given بالexam. They will tell you for each type of workers if you have what is the tax percentage and if there is reduction what is the value of reduction. So here the 25% is for unskilled and semi-skilled persons while the tax rate of 10% here they should add unskilled salary. Okay.
Okay, deal. Thank you.
Welcome. So now, when we want to compute the economic value of the installation charges, we already said that the total value is $10 million. This $10 million should be first converted to local money, okay? And as we said, we will use the shadow rate of 44. So we will multiply by 44. Then we will say that this installation charges is divided into two parts. They told us that 65% is constituted by local contractors. So this is why for local contractors, which are using, as I mentioned in the given, the local contractors are using unskilled and semi-skilled persons. We should apply the reduction of 25%. So we should multiply by 75%. While for foreign contractors, we don't have to apply the reduction. So we just have to consider 35% of the $10 million times 44. Okay. So in total, what will be the value of the installation charges on the economical level? It will be equal to 10 times 44 times 65% times 75% plus 10 times 44 times 35%. So in total, if you want to write it in one equation, it will be equal to $10 million. So we are converting to million local money. Okay. So I will give everything here in million local money. So I should multiply 10, which is the value of $1 million, by 44 first. And then I will say that 65% of this part is subjected to the reduction of 25%. So I multiply it by 75%. And the other 35% part is not subjected to any reduction because it's foreign contractors. So plus 35%. And this will give me the value, the total value of the installation charges on the economic level. Now, if I want to perform on the financial level, I don't have to do the first difference, I don't consider هلا أكيد here 65%. So this is a percentage. So I divide by 100 here also. Okay. So now, if I consider the financial value first, I will cancel out this. So I don't have to apply any reduction. So if you want, foreign and local contractors will be treated in the same way. And then all I have, so this will give you, if you add, this is 100%. So you don't have to take into account this term. And what is the second difference? Instead of multiplying by 44, which is the shadow rate, I should multiply by the official rate, which is 40. So I multiply by 40. Okay. Any question until here? Okay. So until now, I compared the cost and the installation charges for both strategies. Let us continue now to see what should we compare also. Okay, now the plant is expected to consume 1.7 barrels of diesel per megawatt hour for the first 5 years, and then the consumption would increase to 1.8 barrels per megawatt hour for the next 5 years. In this problem, they will ask us to calculate for 10 years, so from year 1 to year 10, how will the cost and incomes be from 1 to 10, and we'll calculate the net present value in order to decide if this project is better to consider on the economic level or on the financial level. Okay, so this is why we need to know how the consumption will vary with years. They told us that for the first 5 years we need 1.7 barrels of diesel per megawatt hour. So now, in order to know the total consumption, so to find the total number of barrels, then all we have to do is to multiply 1.7 by the number of megawatt hour produced by our plant. Okay, and now we'll see which information will allow us to get the number of megawatt hour. While for the remaining years, we'll consider an increase in consumption, because with time, the losses, the efficiency of the plant will decrease. And that's why with time, we might need to produce 1 megawatt hour, we might need more to consume more diesel because of the reduction in efficiency with time. So for the first 5 years, we'll use 1.7 times the number of megawatt hour, while for the remaining 5 years, we'll use 1.8 times the number of megawatt hour. So now this next step will be to search for the number of megawatt hour. This is why, since we know the capacity, we need to know just the number of operational hours. So we should multiply the capacity of our project by the number of operation hours, which is given here. Okay, so if we go downward, we can find the number of operation hours. You can find it here. So they told us that the plant is expected to operate 4,000 hours per year. So we just have now to multiply the capacity, which is 50 megawatt, by the number of hours to get the number of megawatt hours. And then we multiply by the number of barrel per megawatt hour to find the total number of barrels needed. And then to find the cost, of course, they should provide us with the cost of 1 barrel. So if we go down, we can see here that they gave us details on the cost per barrel. And we will have to find what is the difference between the economic and financial cost. So here they told us that if we want to consider first the financial value, okay, we should consider, as we know, we should consider the market rate of increase, because whenever we talk about financial values, they will be affected by market values, since you know that diesel is a domestic product, and then it would increase at the rate of the market, which is given to be 4%. So if we want to determine the price, okay, increase with time, all we have to do is first to say we have first the cost. The cost here should be given. They told us that the cost is divided into 2 parts. So first we should consider the cost of importing diesel, which is $50, and then we should consider the cost of transportation and handling, which will require $10. Okay, pay attention. Sometimes, okay, in the given, if they tell you also that in the economic analysis, you should consider a reduction in the transportation and handling charge, then you should put the reduction. But here they only mentioned that this reduction is applied on skilled, semi-skilled, and unskilled persons. Okay, that's why, because they didn't mention anything, will not consider any reduction. But in case they gave us a percentage of reduction on transport and handling, we will take it into consideration. Okay, so here the total cost of imported diesel is by adding 50 to 10, so it's $60 per barrel. Okay, so for each barrel it's $60. Now, of course, we need to consider to find it in local money terms. In economic, we multiply by the shadow rate, which is 44. And in financial, we multiply by 40. But this price is not fixed with time. They told us that the economic price will increase as the international price. So since the international price increase is 2.5%, then the economic price will increase for each year by 2.5%. However, the financial price will follow the market. And since the increase is 4% in the market price, then when we conduct the variation of price with time, for the financial case, we should each year multiply by 1.04, while for the case of economic price, each year we should multiply by 1.025. At the end, together, we will fill an Excel sheet, because here we have a lot of information. So we need to organize things. We'll do together an Excel sheet to summarize for each year what will be the price, and we can calculate at the end the net present value for all incomes and all costs. Okay, so this is for the case of the price of diesel that we are using. And we used all the information mentioned here in this paragraph. Now, concerning the salary of workers, okay, concerning the salary of workers, first they told us that the plant would require 5 skilled workers and 10 unskilled workers. Now, the skilled workers command a salary of local money of 10,000 per month. Here in general, they should mention for you if this salary is the financial or economic value. In general, when they don't say anything, it is the financial value. This is why you should deduct the taxes to get the economic value. And as we mentioned, it should be clearly stated what is the percentage of tax. In this problem, we said that we have a tax percentage for skilled persons of 10%, and we have a reduction of 25% for semi-skilled and unskilled workers. Okay, so this is why first, if we consider on the economic level, if we want to compute per year what is the cost, so we should do the following. We should add first, we should differentiate between first skilled, semi-skilled, and unskilled. So first, for skilled workers, they told us that the tax is 10%. Okay, that's why we should multiply the financial salary by 90%. Okay, so first they told us that for skilled persons, okay, let us find the salary for skilled persons. Okay, so they told us that for skilled persons, we have, so here for semi-skilled, let me find the number of skilled person. It's not here. So here they told us that unskilled workers are paid 3,000 local money per month, while semi-skilled workers get 7,000 local money per month. And they didn't give us, if you want, we don't have here skilled workers in this example. Okay, so in this example, they didn't mention the number of, Bala, it's here. Sometimes you need to pay attention for the information. It's little bit disordered in this example. So here it's 5 skilled workers, okay, and 10 unskilled workers. In this problem, they didn't differentiate between semi-skilled and unskilled because the percentage of reduction is exactly the same. Okay, it's 75%. The percentage of reduction is 25%. So we multiply the salary by 75%. So because they didn't, the percentage that we should multiply with is the same, they didn't differentiate, if you want, between semi-skilled and unskilled. So here they just said that we have 10 unskilled workers. In case we have also semi-skilled, in this problem, we can add them with unskilled workers since they have the same percentage of reduction, but we should mention then the salary for the salary if we have a difference. Okay, so here they said first that we have 5 skilled workers and 10 unskilled workers. So we should do the following. So first we say that we will divide the workers into 2 parts. 5 skilled, and for skilled persons, okay, we have the salary is equal to 10,000 local money per month. So we have to consider 5 times 10,000 times 12. This will give us the cost in local money per year. Now, if we are doing the economic value, so for the economic value, we should multiply by 90% because we have a rate of tax of 10%. So here we multiply by 90%. Okay. While for the economic case, we don't consider this value. We don't consider the 90% value. And now for unskilled persons, okay, we have 10. Here it seems that for the operations, there is no semi-skilled. Semi-skilled workers are only used by contractors. Okay, this is why they gave you, if you want, the 75% for semi-skilled and unskilled. Okay, here for the operations, they just mentioned that we have 5 skilled workers and 10 unskilled workers. So no semi-skilled in this case. So we should add now 10 times the salary of unskilled workers, which is 3,000. And because this is a salary per month, we should multiply by 12. And then since they told us that the shadow price of a labor wage is 75%, so we should multiply by 75%. So this is for the economic analysis. While if we consider the financial salaries, the difference is that we don't consider the reduction. So we remove 90% and 75%. So this is about the workers. Okay. Now, they told us that these salaries are not fixed. We have an increase. Okay. So now when we want to compute over the years, we need to consider for each salary the percentage of increase. So they told us that the salary of employees will grow at an average rate of 5% every year. And so now when we want to compute from 1 to 10, for each year, we will multiply the salary by 1.05 for both economic and financial analysis. Okay, so this is about salaries. Now, concerning operational and maintenance costs, they said that to repair and have maintenance, we need first 3% of the plant cost per year, plus other costs, other operational costs that will include also initial installation. Sorry, that will require, for example, operational cost or any costs that are not we are not aware of, because you know in any work you might have costs that are not expected. This is why we put a certain percentage for these costs. They told us that all operational, repair, and maintenance costs will constitute 8% of not only the initial investment, 8% of the initial investment, including the installation period. And we have already calculated the value of the initial investment and installation. If you remember, the initial cost was $20 million. And for this is the initial investment. And plus we have the installation costs, which are $10 million. So this is the total initial investment. So we should consider for each year 8% of operational and maintenance costs. So we should for each year take 8% of this value. And of course, the only difference between economic and financial values is what? What will be the difference? We said that, pay attention, when we considered this here, can we just put this in this way as I did and multiply by 40 and 44? Is it right to do it as like this? Or what should we do? If you remember, when we considered the charges of installation, we considered that we have foreign and local contractors. And this is why it was already calculated. So now, no need to repeat the analysis. We go back to our calculations. Okay, we already converted to local money. And we considered, for case of economics, a reduction, because we have a reduction on local contractors. So since this was already calculated, we just have to add initial investment and installation cost, and then multiply by 8%. So if you want to see the details of these calculations, let us go back to the calculation we did. So here, we said that first the plant cost is $20 million. And when we calculated the economic cost, we just multiplied by the shadow rate, and for the financial cost by the official rate. Now for the installation charges, here we differentiate between foreign contractor and local contractor. For the case of only economic case. For the economic case, we multiplied. For the foreign contractor, we don't have any reduction. So it's just 35% times the total installation charge. And we multiplied by 44, which is the shadow rate. So we got 154 million of local money. Then for the local contractor cost, we said that we should consider the reduction of 25%. So we considered first the percentage of local contractor, which is 65%, times the installation charges, times the shadow rate. And to account for the reduction, we multiplied by 0.75. So this will give us in total 214.5 million in local money. So now we can say that if we add the initial cost in the economic analysis, so in the economic analysis, the initial cost is 800 million. And the installation cost